Welcome to Pure Elite TV. If I could just ask you to introduce yourself and whereabouts you're from.
So my name is Kate and I'm from Ireland and I'm a Pure Elite Pro Fitness model.
Okay, and can you tell us what titles that you currently hold and when you got them?
So in 2017 I competed in Pure Elite for the very first time. I did fitness model short and I placed first where I won my pro card. I came back a year later because I knew I had to put on a bit more size. The pro division is no joke, and I came back into the Worlds last November and I placed second in my category. So now I'm back this year hoping to do well in the pros.
How's it feel?
Feels kind of surreal because I've never done an April show. I've always done the World Championships. So the UK Championships is a first for me, and loads of emotions, but I'm really excited.
Why did you choose Pure Elite?
I definitely don't like set bodybuilding. I like that you can show your personality on stage when you're posing, and I was really into, like, I watched it a good bit before I initially decided it was for me. I saw a show and I was like, this is amazing. I loved the family vibe and I like what it's all about. I like that everyone's so friendly, and I just decided to go for it and I'm so happy I did, and 2 years later I'm still here.
So how many times have you competed?
So I've actually competed 4 times, but this will be my 4th time, and I've competed with Pure Elite. This will be my 3rd time at Pure Elite.
Okay.
So I'm excited.
And how have you found prep? Because obviously you competed in November. How have you found this prep?
So from November, I knew I had to step up my game a little bit, and it's been quite taxing. Very tough prep, probably the hardest one I've had to do, but I love a challenge and I was ready for it. Once I got the judges' feedback, when someone gives me feedback, it sticks in my head. So I've been thinking about it all day, every day when I'm in prep, and I just knew that I had to just dig that little bit deeper, and I definitely feel like I've come back harder this year, so I'm excited.
So what was it about the prep that you found most difficult? Was it kind of bulking or cutting? Which part of it?
I feel the most taxing part was at night time when you're just hungry. I feel that's the most, because during the day, like, you're so busy, and then just at night time it's just, you're sitting down and you're like, I wouldn't mind a biscuit, but that for me was the hardest part, like when you're not busy, just sitting down. But other than that, like, I do like pushing myself hard, so I didn't really find everything intense really till the last few weeks. I found just overall energy was quite low the last few weeks, so I found that quite hard. But other than that, just the nighttime relaxation.
I think we can all sympathise with that, the temptation not to get up and go to the fridge.
Definitely, that's a big one.
How did you hear about Pure Elite?
It actually was my boyfriend. So he did a different federation first, and he was like, this other federation, Pure Elite, I really want to look into it. I'm thinking about doing it. And I was like, okay, let me see what it's about. So did some research on it, because I really don't think anyone should do a federation without researching what the federation's about. How do you know if it's for you or not? So did a little bit of research, got some videos, talked to some competitors, and decided it was for us, and we're here.
Yeah, it's good. You've both competed quite a few times now.
Yeah, we started competing together in 2017, and we compete together all the time, so this is my first Pure Elite without him, so it's a bit emotional, but he's enjoying his off season.
So obviously being a couple competing is quite hard, doing it together. How do you find it? How do you cope?
Love it. I find it harder not to compete together. I think it's because the sport itself can be quite lonely, and it's a really self-absorbed sport because it's you versus you all day long. So when we do it together, like, we could be quite frantic. So we could be just sitting on the couch and we're halfway through prep and we're like, oh, let me just check my abs there, or can you just check my back? And we're like, you can't just relax, like, it's just 24/7 talking about the show, or it's so much more fun, when you're doing it together. But when you're doing it alone and you kind of say it, and he has this habit at the moment when I have my little small pigeon meal and he's eating like a big massive bowl of oats, and he's just like, I'm so full. I'm like, do you need to tell me this, that you're full? And it's after every single meal. So that's one thing that I don't like about not prepping together.
The death stare, full effect.
The death stare, I will give it every time. And he loves it, he thinks it's hilarious. So yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about not prepping together, is him being full and me not.
Well, if there ever comes a time where he's on prep and you aren't, you can fully pay him back for
I am
this.
going to enjoy that so much. I can't wait for that day to come.
Oh, bless. Your favourite Pure Elite Pro and why?
Um, my favourite Pure Elite Pro is definitely Jade because since day one we competed for the very first time together. We were all quite nervous backstage and we just kind of bonded and we've been competing together ever since, and I'll get a bit emotional now, but we just got really close, and she's phenomenal. She's a great athlete and I just love being on stage with her.
If you could train with any Pure Elite Pro, male or female, who would it be and why?
Well, obviously that's going to be Josh Blue, because Josh needs to give me some quads. He is a powerhouse in the gym. Like, I would train. I don't know about the 3-hour sessions, but I'd definitely be off for a session with Josh. It has to be legs though.
This has been the most common answer that everyone has said.
Really?
With Josh Blue, leg session.
Okay, will I change it?
No, that's fine. He's gonna have such a big head by the end of this.
Oh, he will enjoy that so much, definitely.
We get group session, leg session with Josh Blue. I think that's what we need to do.
I think just get everyone together and just have a big session in the gym with Josh. Give him a mic, he'd love that as well. I think he'd big up the mic.
Leg session class.
Basically, yeah, just give a big class.
What is your cheat meal or the meal that you're going to have after the show that you've been looking forward to?
So, like, I eat quite clean anyway, but for the way that I prep this time, I really am craving McDonald's. I adore McDonald's, and some people are like, what, why not a pizza, why not donuts? I can't answer that question, but I just love McDonald's, so I will be getting 2 Big Mac meals after the show.
2 Big Mac meals?
I have to have 2, one's definitely not enough.
I suppose after however many weeks it's been, yeah.
Oh yeah, straight into bulking season starts tonight.
As soon as the show closes, clearly.
Absolutely, I'm straight there.
How long was your prep for? You've obviously mentioned about November. How long was this prep for on cutting?
Well, do you mean in cutting or just on prep in general?
You could probably cover both.
Yeah, I'm basically, I feel like when you get to the pro level and you're really serious about competing, you're always in prep, and I think every pro will agree with you there. So you come off the stage and you take a couple of days to recuperate, have a bit of a deload, and you're straight back into it. You know, not a cutting phase essentially, but you're reversing and you're going into a bit of a lean bulk before you go and prep again. So it's consistent. But my prep for the cutting phase for this show in particular, it was 10 weeks.
How have you found it?
Intense.
Say obviously with Connor and not being on prep.
Yeah, intense. He's the only thing with Connor is, yes, we're a couple, but he's very black and white, so he will be very brutally honest with the opinions.
He's made you very accountable for what you're eating, I'm guessing.
Very accountable, and will tell you definitely if you don't look good. So I do appreciate that though, because the feedback, you know, it's nice to have someone who will just tell you the truth. So when he's like, and you're like, how am I looking? And he's just like, it's okay. You're like, oh my God, you have to work 10 times harder. So you know then, like, you know, so yeah.
So you've obviously done a few shows before. How do you find posing practice, and how long do you typically practice posing for?
Well, I absolutely love it. I actually am a posing coach, so I adore posing. I live for it. It's definitely my favourite part of prep. So I could do it for you all day long, really. I do tend to practice for about 30 minutes after every gym session. So I could be practicing like 5 or 6 days a week for half an hour to an hour.
Okay, that's really good.
It's a long one, yeah. But you just, to make it right, you have to put in the time, especially for this kind of show. It's freelance. It's like showing your personality on stage. So make it count, you know.
Great advice. A couple of quick-fire questions for you.
Okay.
I don't want you to think about it. I just want you to tell me whatever comes to your mind first of all, okay?
I'm nervous.
Don't worry, it's nothing too dramatic. Okay, right, so are you ready?
I'm ready.
Josh or Jade?
Oh, Jade.
That was an easy one. Straight away. Next one is Stuart or Janine?
Oh,
First
go
one.
on, Stuart.
That's great. So there you have it, our quick fires. So a lot of competitors obviously follow you on social media, and we've followed some of the mishaps and troubles that have sort of ensued on this on this prep. And we recently saw that you had some issues getting here. Do you want to share with us what happened?
Oh God, like at least we can laugh about it now, but it definitely wasn't funny at the time, I can tell you that. So Connor had a presentation in Dublin. We're from Cork, so the trip is about 3 hours. So we left early. Connor did the presentation, it all went well. We were like, yes, we have so much time because our flight isn't until 3 p.m. On the motorway on the way to Dublin, bear in mind we were 3 minutes away from that airport, there was something on the road and Connor just blew over it. And I was like, oh my God, the tyre. And we could feel it. We were like, oh no, 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 guys, no, no. Connor pulled over and the tyre was completely blown. And I didn't want to look out. And I just saw Connor and he was like, oh my God, you know, that like silence. I was like, oh my God, this is not going to end well. So we had to get AA out. They were like, okay, we can plug the tyre. So we were there for like 40 minutes. Thank God we had time. But then I was like, we're not going to make it. He was like, you actually can't drive the car, so we need to bring you to a car garage. So got to the garage. Bear in mind, I was sweating at this stage because I was looking at the watch. I was like, oh my God, we're not going to make the show. We're not going to make it. Connor was like, I'll put you in a taxi and you can just go. I was like, I'm not going without you. So they were really nice in the garage. They got it sorted. We got to the airport on time and we made it. I can't believe it. I genuinely, like, we were traumatized yesterday. Cortisol levels were through the roof, but we're all good now. We made it here in one piece. Shocked.
That's brilliant news. So I'm guessing everything's all good now. You can relax. You've not been on stage yet, have you? Just
Haven't been on stage
Just about.
yet. So, good.
How are the nerves?
Yeah, the nerves are good. I'm more excited than nervous. So I still have to do a little pump up, just enjoy everyone's company backstage and just chill out. So yeah, excited.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your
Thanks so
time.
much.
Before we go, is there anything else or advice that you want to add for anyone competing or thinking about competing or anything like that?
Absolutely. If you are competing, make sure that you know that this federation is right for you. Do your research on the show and just make sure that it is the show for you. Take your time and make sure you get a good coach, especially a posing coach. Crucial for a fitness model show like this. And if you are going for the show, I would 100% go watch it first because it's amazing.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you.